Mike, it's Tales from Bottom of the Ocean.
No, it's not.
Well, okay, see you guys later. No. It's time for everybody's favorite philosophy podcast, Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean. I'm Austin Andrews.
Mike Kempf, man.
Man.
Yeah. We were having an exhilarating, that's not the right word, conversation, so I just got the jitters.
Yeah. In preparation for the show, because we, of course, love doing this for you guys. In fact, if you really do love the show, you should consider supporting the production company on Patreon. Patreon.com/Area22. Consider it. Drop a couple of dollars, become a patron of our work. It really does help out the guys doing the work for us, and it really does help us out as well. So please, if you'd be so kind, s'il vous plaît.
Give us money.
Please. We're dying over here. No. But, Mike, so today we're going to be talking about more ontological situations.
More God.
More God. On Long Island.
Imagine if we're just so blasphemous, he just shoots lightning and that's it.
That's it. Canceled.
Dead.
Canceled by divine mandate, dude. How would you feel?
You guys already got canceled?
No, hold on.
I'd feel special. Like, we made a show so bad, God had to step in and literally smite us. That he hasn't had to do that since the Tower of Babel.
Oh, imagine, we're approaching such a high prestigious position.
We're literally this close to heaven, dude. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, dude. No, you can't go against God that way, dude. You gotta be just the right amount of stupid.
I think I'm over the amount. That's his fault because he made me in his image, so he must be a dumbass.
He said it, not me. He said it, not me. I'm a really smart guy, so,
Yep. Real smart with your associate's degree. I'm kidding. I got one too. That's all I'm doing. No, that's not true. I'll go back. I promise.
I don't believe it.
All right, but today we're going to be talking about divine heroes, Mike. So, in many mythological stories, there's the tale of the divine hero. Well, the ideal hero. The ideal person, I should say. What exactly is this hero, and why is he significant not just to God, but to the world?
He'd have to be, he's got to be strong. He's got to be fast. You know that song.
No.
Dude, it was in Shrek. I need a hero.
No.
I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
So Shrek is the manifestation of a divine hero, basically.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Well, yeah.
There's no redos, are there? We need a rewind button.
Oh, no, unfortunately, no.
Oh, well.
Rewind?
No. Anyway, yeah. But it would generally be, I guess, like an impressive person that does something heroic.
All right, so we have an example.
No, we don't.
Oh, well, see everybody. No. We have an example. Jesus Christ, the Redeemer of man. Classic example from Christianity, from Western philosophy.
Yeah, but when you hear the word hero, I don't think you first think about Jesus.
I don't know, I think of Jesus. I mean, not even because I'm religious, because, I mean, he is like the sort of archetypical divine hero for what he does.
Well, he doesn't really, fight anything, though. Usually it involves smiting something down. The only thing Jesus ever fought was, he went into a temple and threw a kind of a hissy fit and knocked some shit over.
Imagine if he was, insanely drunk.
No, he wasn't drunk. He was pissed because they were funny enough, they were making profit off of temple, which, later on in history, the church ended up doing the exact same thing.
And then Martin Luther came.
Yeah, and then he had wait, that's wrong, Martin Luther. That was King Jr. who had the dream.
Yeah, no, Martin Luther nailed his theses on the church door.
Was Martin Luther King Jr. named after Martin Luther?
No.
It's a very weird coincidence.
Dunno. All we know is that all three of those guys were trying to speak the truth.
Yeah, in that way, I guess Martin Luther King Jr. and Martin Luther would be heroes.
Yeah. But I'll give you some quotes about the reason why I think that Jesus Christ is a hero. I mean, based on the way that the story is portrayed, he is the sort of archetypical hero, but let me explain. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. So that's one of the quotes. And as we continue on, I'll give you more. But that this is a big thing because, like, I mean, the way that I'm sort of structuring this is like I believe that Jesus Christ, as he's presented in like the sort of myth about him, even though he did exist. I think the fact that like the thing that we should be focusing on isn't like his life and whether or not he existed or not. This is what I think a lot of people fall short on, but the philosophy behind his actions and why they're so significant. Because obviously, like, the thing is, like, a lot of people think that people were, like, just so insanely stupid back then, but no. The thing is, like, the way,
They were a little stupid.
no, I mean, yeah, but they weren't stupid for they were stupid in the sense that there were unknown unknowns, you know? Like, like, the thing is, like, the thing that makes someone stupid is the fact that they know something that they don't know something, you know? Like, I think that makes a person stupid. Like, I don't necessarily think a person's stupid just because they don't know something that they don't know, you know?
Yeah, whatever.
Like, it's just things that haven't been discovered. But, like, I think that there were very smart people for their time, you know? But, the reason I'm saying that, of course, is because, like, I think that I don't think people just, like, looked at, like, things falling from the sky, like freaking rocks or, like, you know, apples or whatever, and thinking, like, holy shit, like, this is the most mesmerizing thing. I think that there was a genuine sort of... I think things in history had to be actually genuinely significant to where it warranted, like, say, the creation of an entire religion.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the creation of Christianity is centralized around, like, even the symbol for Christianity, the cross, is assembled around the idea that Jesus Christ died on the cross to save mankind. But I wanted to sort of get into that and why that makes him a sort of hero. But let me know what you think, Mike. Why did Jesus Christ suffer and die on the cross? Cancel.
What?
Go on.
No, it's because well, because King, whatever the hell his name was, I forgot his name. He was being a jerk. He was like, "There's absolutely no way someone could be more influential than me, so I'm going to kill this person." And then Judas was like, "Oh, I know where Jesus is. If you give me, like, literally back then, like, friggin' $5." So then he's like, "All right," and then. And then they nailed Jesus to a cross along with, I forgot the penitent thief. I forgot his name.
Wait, really it was cool another guy on the cross with him? Or it was two
No, there's two. There was 3 crosses altogether. They were on separate crosses. There was a penitent thief, forgot his name, and it's a really cool name. And there was a guy who was, like, berating Jesus, like, "Idiot, why are you here?" oh, look at me, I'm Jesus of Nazareth, no better than I am, or whatever the hell. What was the question?
Why he suffered on the cross?
Oh, because of the king. He was jealous that, like, it was basically that, like, the king didn't realize that, like, if you're a nice guy, a lot of people might like you, basically. And Jesus is a reasonably nice guy, healing the sick and making bread out of bread, making fish and bread out of
his body.
No, his body, and that was just the final dinner or supper. I'm talking about when he took the bread and the fish and made more bread and fish, like, out of thin air, or when he turned the water into wine at the wedding. He was a cool dude.
Dismiss.
Yeah, Dismas, and I think the other one starts with a G. Yeah, Jesus, Dismas.
History as told by Mike.
I think it was like Gossamer or something. I don't know. Wait, no, that's a big red guy from Looney Tunes.
That wasn't
Yeah, he was nailed to the cross. Gossamer died for our sins.
You're gonna roleplay. I am a Chinese historian who's just traveled to the Middle East to try to figure out what the hell happened here. Only you're the sort of village elder who saw this shit all go down, but you just tell me, like, listen, I'm going back to my people, right? And I want to tell them about the birth of Christianity. How the hell did this happen?
Would I even know what a Chinese person is back then if I was in the Middle East? Did they even meet up?
Some weird looking fella comes over and he's like, how did Christianity come to be?
Oh,
back during the time. It's basically 1 generation later.
Alright, so one day this guy was born in Bethlehem, and it caused a huge shitstorm. And then we nailed him to a cross. Because he was doing miracles, and the king just didn't like that at all. And then they hung him up.
Okay.
Wait, let me try to be serious for a damn second. The reason why Christianity really existed because they idolized Jesus' actions, and then they had to make it separate from Judaism. So, like, Jews tend to believe that the Messiah didn't like come yet or something.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just about as clueless as you are. I came here to learn about it.
Well, basically, Catholics believe that he was the one true Messiah, basically, because of what he did. And I would say his death had a big influence on that because it was done in such a way that was iconic, but also because, like, well, also according to the Bible, after it happened, God, like, immediately friggin' flipped out or something. Like, I remember, or maybe this might have been just been a movie editing, but, like an earthquake happened and stuff. Like, it was obvious they did something wrong. And then also he came back through, like, the tongues of fire and stuff like that. Like, there was, like, little signs. Like the tongues of fire visited the disciples and, like rested upon their heads. Like, and God just Jesus made it apparent. It's like, yeah, I was real. And then, like, he arose from the tomb and into heaven with his own body and stuff.
Guess his name was...
Gossamer.
Gossamer? Gespas, Gespas.
Yep, that's him. Gossamer.
Well, he probably didn't feel very...
No, he was being a jerk to Jesus.
Yeah, he probably didn't feel very lucky.
He probably went straight to hell. Like, the penitent thief is like making up, like, trying to make up for what he did and saw that Jesus was suffering. It's like, man, if you could suffer, then I guess you must be pretty legit to go through all this. While, meanwhile, Gesposito was like... Jesus, you loser.
While still on the cross, like, yeah. I was right. Jesus, but anyway, that's why Jesus suffered and died on the cross, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop cracking your voice, dude.
It's hard, but
remember, you gotta drink warm water.
Don't worry about it.
No, room temperature.
What? That's the same thing.
It's not.
Whatever. Okay.
I'm also kind of sick, but
I'm very room temperature in here. Would you say that?
Shut up. Jesus Christ.
What about him? Let's read
he
on.
suffered and died on the cross. Why? I'm kidding. You already answered that mostly.
He was a martyr. That's why. Damn it.
There you go.
Like the very first martyr, probably.
But anyway, let me sort of give my 2 cents on this. As it is known, Jesus was forced to carry an enormously heavy cross that he was summarily nailed to when he and where he suffered in agony until he died. Right.
I think they called it Skull Hill or something, where he was walking up.
He was then believed to have risen from the dead not soon after, ascended into heaven to be the right hand of the Lord Almighty. Christians believe that through his crucifixion and subsequent resurrection, God offered humans salvation and eternal life.
Facts. That is literally what happened.
That's basically what he said, basically. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know why you bothered to read it. No prompts. You don't need it. Prompts are crutches.
All we need is Mike and his infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
But
dude, I went to Catholic school for 13 years.
He's a master.
Yeah, I kind of forgot a lot of it.
But like so from there, like what made Jesus this heroic figure?
Because he rose from the dead and all that stuff. Like, also you have to remember the Bible wasn't written as it was freaking going on.
Yeah.
Like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all made their separate sections of the Bible, and like they it's kind of like them writing a story basically, but based on real life.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing. I don't think it's besides the most ardent of like militant fucking atheists. Like, I don't think anybody is arguing that the Bible is like the word for word representation of like what happened. It is stories.
Yeah, it's
filled with so many like lessons and like, you know, psychologically significant like archetypes, you know.
And some things actually did kind of happen.
Yeah, like I mean, it's widely accepted that he was actually nailed to the cross. That definitely did happen.
Yeah, he's like a real guy.
Yeah,
like he was a dude.
But like I mean, I'm talking about like from like in trying to sort of divine what a divine hero is. Like, how does sort of Jesus Christ play into that? Because, I mean, first of all, like, this is part one because we're going to be talking about other individuals and how they relate to you, of course.
Because he's literally, like, well, for one thing, he's, like, the human vessel of God. Like,
Well, no, I don't mean like just like in that sort of like spiritual sense. I mean in somewhat in a spiritual sense, but like, what does that mean exactly? Yeah.
Well, in his case, it's meant to be taken pretty literally.
I don't think so. I think there's like a philosophical like aspect of it that I feel as if a lot of people don't really understand.
That could be the case, but like in the Bible, it's like you could definitely get something out of it like that. But he is literally like God,
Yeah, he is. Like I found it really
a
interesting. Like,
fusion of God and man, basically.
yeah, but like I found it really interesting. Like in the Holy Trinity, like none of the aspects of the Holy Trinity are related to each other, but they all are God. But they're sort of like this sort
Which
of.
I never really got the difference between God and the Holy Spirit. No matter how many times they try telling me the difference, I'm like, those sound like the exact same.
Well, yeah, because they are. Like God is the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is God. But
Then why even separate them?
Because I mean, well, you gotta understand like what each of them sort of represent, I guess. But we're not really gonna get into too much, but like, because I do want to focus on like Jesus and like his, I guess, heroic action. But like, I guess I can explain that in like a sort of forethought if we have enough time. But but I guess let me just explain like what I think. I mean, I guess let's go through the story. So Jesus Christ, he is. I have a bit of a, I guess. Let me see. Well, I have a couple of quotes and like a statement here to be made on his behalf.
His behalf.
Well, no, hold on, not his behalf, but about him. Sorry.
It's like, oh, yeah, Austin, can you say this? So
Just appeared on the page now. God shows his love for us in that while we are still sinners, Christ died for us. So that's the first thing. And Jesus, he died to give his life as ransom for the many. So the first one's from Romans 5:8, and the other one's from Matthew 2:28. 20:28. But in sort of the description of Jesus that I found, he's also known as the Logos, which means the Word of God. But the Logos also means like logic and truth. So that's a big thing. And what I was gathering from it is that like, okay, so essentially like Jesus Christ, he is the embodiment of the Logos, which is God's word on this earth, which is what's wrong.
Nothing.
Which is supposed to be the manifestation of truth and what, Mike, you have to tell me what's wrong.
Because I was thinking back to last episode how we were talking about Pepe. Do you know his name is Matt Fury? Matt Furry, I think. Either way,
The creator of Pepe, right?
The creator of Pepe. I remember.
He kills him, right? Like
No, he was so pissed that he drove Pepe's funeral, and then everyone was like, "Nah, he's not dead. Fuck you."
Wait, so he resurrected him? He resurrected him, and
Pepe resurrected himself out of a third party space. No, like Matt, whatever the hell, Fury, Furry. He's either both. Both apply to his current feelings right now.
Dude, whatever. It's like I said, like God and like
Even give him blue lips.
It's just like I say, like God and divinity. They're all memes, but they're just powerful memes.
So much so you can't kill them even when the creator says they're dead.
Exactly. Like, because I mean, what is a meme besides like an expression of truth?
Like, you imagine if like friggin' Nintendo decided Mario's dead. No one's gonna let that slide.
Exactly. It's because it's all based on like memes and like group emotions, dude.
Oh yeah, Mario got stuck in a pipe and starved to death.
Well, let me continue, you fucking prankster.
I thought before we'll have fun with that.
Oh god. Let me continue on. But basically, he comes to Earth, like he's born from a union between like a virgin and the Holy Spirit.
Joseph is seething right now.
Which I don't really know the psychological significance of that or whatever, but like it's I guess to symbolize that he was born he was born from pure divinity.
Yeah.
And so he comes onto this world and he speaks only the truth. And I mean, listen, you have plenty of stories that I won't necessarily like speak of, but I'm pretty sure you have plenty of stories where in you speaking the truth it incites suffering upon your life.
No, never.
Okay.
I usually get away with it one way or the other.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, yeah.
You don't understand what I'm saying, right?
I make my life suffer a lot because I don't like letting things go that don't deserve to be, at least.
Yeah. But like in sort of exposing, sort of not in a malicious way, but sort of exposing things for as they kind of are. You know, it brings some kind of suffering to your life, because let's say, like, I mean, I'm not gonna say names, but like, let's say someone that we know just sort of genuinely looks at their life and sees what it's comprised. Sort of sees what it is and like what they have to show for like their efforts, you know. Now that could be anybody, but like I mean, listen, like, if you come to understand, like if you come to express truth in your life and sort of realize,
yeah,
you
go on,
like what it is that you have going for you, like, you know, all the things that you could be, you know, sort of expose yourself to the sort of light of God, so to speak. Or to see like what your true potential is, then I mean you're gonna look at yourself and look at all your shortcomings and maybe be like, hey, listen, I'm not where I want to be, you know. And so that's really important, because Jesus, he's in here, is the mediator, but the title means more than something. Like I'm reading what I have here, means that someone between God and man. He is not just a third party between God and humanity. As true God, he brings God to mankind, and as true man, he brings mankind to God, which is important because, like, I mean, we talked about it last episode. Like God, he's sort of, I mean, I think he's a meme, but he's sort of manifesting as this like supreme point in all of being.
Maybe God lost so much touch with humans. He had to become one to really get what the hell he just did with making them.
That's a really interesting perspective.
It's probably true, because he was probably like, yeah, I can't relate to these things anymore because now I just made them imperfect.
Well, yeah, because like throughout the biblical stories, mankind gets further and further away from God.
Yep, and we're still going pretty damn far away from his light.
But the difference here is that, and this was at the turn of literally mankind's perception of time, which is where it, like I said, the clock goes to zero, and then basically the world's renewed. Which is interesting, because that's a calendar system that we all uniformly accept throughout the entire world, which I find really interesting.
What? That where everything's ever set to zero?
Well, yeah, because it was, you know, it's 2019. Happy New Year, by the way.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's 2019 AD, and everybody accepts that as the time. You know, after the death of Christ. Now the people try to take religion out of it and say, instead of AD, it's I forget what it is.
AC, I think.
Yeah, there's some.
Or no, that's BCE.
No, it's like a common interval.
CE.
CE? Okay.
Common
yeah,
era.
Common era. Yeah, common era. They started to use that, but like I mean, the number itself comes from when Christ died and was risen. You know,
I kind of like the common era thing more, because whenever we're gonna get to an uncommon era, like the second era.
When we die.
This is my point, and this is Mike. It just goes right over him.
No, I got your point. I just like changing the subject. Because I just thought of something cool.
Fair enough. But like,
in my head at least.
no, it's an interesting, because I don't know how things are gonna be in the future, Mike. I really don't know. It's gonna listen. Like things are getting really interesting. Like I heard there's like a lot of AIs that they're making that are like they basically said like in 10 years we're probably gonna make some like a computer that's basically as close to as a human brain as possible, to where it's like basically a human brain.
You know what I just kind of thought, that's to the topic of both what I was trying to say, what you're trying to say. Well, like with AD,
Yeah.
I don't think we'd get a new era until like Jesus came back, and then we'd start a whole new thing. That only makes sense.
Yeah.
Or at least if, like, maybe somebody who, like, not really tricked people in saying he was Jesus, but, like, was widely believed to be, like, the next... I don't know, it's so crazy. I feel like either something huge would have to happen like that, or technology would have to get to a singularity point where, like, the world itself is just not the same as it was before.
Yeah, eventually we'll reach a breaking point. But
As will I.
yeah. But so God sends his only son. That's a big thing, because I mean, if he's your only son, that's essentially your entire lineage right there. He sends his only son essentially onto earth to speak the truth, because he is God, essentially.
Well, what if Jesus had kids?
Technically, I mean, we're all his sons or whatever, or we're all his.
So then wouldn't that make... Then why is playing God such a bad thing then?
Playing God? Oh, it's because I don't know. I think
If we're all a little piece.
I don't know. I think that's honestly just a construct of like the church to sort of tell us what we can and can't do necessarily. But I mean, it also has some grounding. Like, would you want to create? I mean, we covered this last time, honestly. But would you want to create an AI that could suffer and could do basically everything that a human could?
Not unless it could be subservient. Of course. I'm
Basically,
gonna be the first victim of the robot uprising.
basically making a human, but like making it on near immortal to a human.
But also subservient.
Does it have to be? That's where it falls in the question, because like you're playing God because you're creating life, but you're making it
You're also making your own
programming
kind of.
programming it.
There's also slavery, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Moving on, or rather, staying on topic, which you never do. But he suffers greatly. He is ousted as a sort of, I guess, as a criminal, and he's sentenced to die via crucifixion. So then, and they nail him to the cross, where again he suffers. He that's not even the only part where he suffers. He has to carry the massive cross up the hill.
He has to carry basically his own death tool. He has to carry it all the way up the hill.
Which is very interesting. Like he has to carry the thing that he will essentially die on up the hill.
Yeah.
And basically he let me see. I didn't really write it, but he dies so that mankind has a way to get to God, basically, or they have a way to achieve a status of divinity, like kind of like he did, and so he dies, and for what he did, he rises from the dead, and then he ascends to heaven. That's kind of he ascends to heaven, not to basically be one with God or to be God himself, essentially. Now that's essentially what literally happens, but. I mean, I'm talking about why does that make him such a revered figure? Like, because a lot of people say that the reason, I mean, in my opinion, it seems a little off-putting, because it makes it seem like very cult-like-ish. But the thing is, like, they say to worship God, and then accept Jesus into your heart because he died on the cross for us, and the reason he died on the cross for us is because, well, it was just a supremely selfless act, because he gave us a medium by which we may reach divinity. Now, what does that mean, though? Which is what I was sort of trying to rack my brain around. Like, what does this divinity mean? Because I mean, he basically does that. He reaches divinity, but how did he reach it? Like, what do you think?
How Jesus reached divinity?
Yeah,
he was literally born with it.
Well, but in the story, he leaves us with the sort of map to get to heaven. Like, what is that sort of thing? Like, what is the map?
Basically, like his teachings, like literally just be a good person.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that, but it's his teachings, of course, but to sort of follow in his example. Like, what I'm trying to get at is, like, in your own life, you have to, if you want to truly sort of reach the point of highest being, which is what God is. And this is what you will reach if you follow in Jesus Christ, which is the embodiment of truth.
I don't even think they go that far. I don't think they ever really imply that you could be even that close to God in that sense.
Well, no, that's what they literally say, though. Like, his followers
until when you die, but when you live.
Well, no,
really.
but that's the thing. Like, it is like when you die when you die, the summation of your efforts manifests sort of permanently in the world because you died.
Yeah.
You can't act anymore to change them, and you can't go back to change them. So when you die, like, whatever you did, you're sort of your point in history sort of ends. So of course that's when you would ascend. But the thing is that, like, the way that you sort of expressed your will upon the world determines whether or not you do go into heaven. And I don't think it's necessarily so concrete as to, well, I mean, it is kind of concrete as to what they tell you, but I think there's a really, really deep philosophical significance behind that, The idea that Jesus Christ, he essentially carries, he carries this apparatus that is the sort of it's the symbol of his suffering, which is why, Christianity is symbolized by the cross. And he is literally nailed to it. So he is bound to the sort of summation of his suffering. He becomes one with it, and then he dies, essentially. And he dies selflessly so that everybody around him may understand, hey, listen, this is how you reach the point of highest being. This is how you become the greatest possible you that you can be. You have to be willing to speak the truth and suffer and die for what you not only for what you believe in, but just for what you have in your life, And that's a that's a really powerful idea, because the argument is that if you do that, you will ascend to a status that is so beyond your normal state that everybody around you will come to understand it as being a mode of great being. Let me give you an example. So let me get you a good example. Well, well, I was just listening to this one guy. I think I was watching Joe Rogan or something like that, and he was talking about, and he was just talking about how
Have you ever done DMT?
Shut up. And he was just talking about how people come to him and say oh wow, I really changed my life around. It's one of the stories that he was talking about with one of his guests is that he said that, I think his guest has said not only did the guy that he was talking to change his life around him for the better, he because I think he was addicted to 2 different kinds of drugs, he actually helped his other addict friends get out of it as well.
That's good.
Yeah. And in order to do that, he had to shoulder a heavy burden on himself by telling himself the truth. Listen, this is not a proper way to be, and I have to rise out of this sort of this coil that I'm in, this sort of state of hardship by suffering and essentially becoming one with the thing that will inevitably not necessarily the thing that will inevitably kill me, but the thing that is becoming one with the thing that is holding me onto this earth, or in earth, holding me onto my former self, and die and be resurrected as something anew. Dude, it's like the phoenix. Jesus Christ is essentially the phoenix, where from the ashes of its old self, it's born anew into essentially a new, fresher version of itself, And it's really important because anybody can do that, Anybody can summarily accept the fact that what they are is not good. As the sinners, did. The sinners understand who follow Jesus understand that what they are full of sin. They are full of all these things, and that they can reach a state of divinity by shouldering a burden and sort of being forthright in the world, telling the truth, and when they do die, whether it be literally or metaphorically, they'll be reborn as a divine version of themselves.
I had recently read in a book that it made the point that just knowing that good and evil exists aren't enough to really follow through with knowing. Isn't enough to lead a good life. You have to actually learn to being good. And if you were to be evil, you'd have to learn how to being evil.
So he's basically making the case that all these are learned behaviors.
In a sense, yeah. There's a big difference between somebody who means to do well but doesn't really know what that would entail, so they end up doing the opposite. Whereas knowing what is good, you could do it more effectively.
So what do you
you have a better way of constructing the means to the end if you know what's good. If you don't know what's good, you just know that you want to do good, you're useless.
No, what's good? No. but you're basically saying that you have to have actual vision of.
Yeah, you have to know what is good, not just. You can't just acknowledge that good is good. You have to know what exactly falls under that criteria of being good.
Yeah. You have to have.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah. Shut up.
Drink that water.
I'm sick. Fuck off.
Oh, why is everyone sick? Everyone I know has a cold.
I'm down with sickness.
Ooh, Yeah, but like everyone's freaking sick. My dad has bronchitis. Like half the people I know just have a cold. Just stop being sick, like Teddy Roosevelt. You gotta live the strenuous life.
Shut up. But yeah, well, just like Jesus did essentially. Well, yeah, no, actually talk about what is like besides the, I guess the less important bits, but like, you know, Teddy Roosevelt, he said that you need to burden yourself with things that are hard, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's important. Because I mean, how else are you supposed to what?
Nothing. Things are hard.
How else are you supposed to? How else are you supposed? Well, not even live, because you can live, and you can even survive. But how else are you supposed to become better? You know, we talked about this a lot. Like I feel as if I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's because like all of this philosophy,
it's like the exact same shit.
It kind of is. Not to say that you should, you know, close the tab. Please don't. But it's to say that, you know, it's all about organized existence.
It's a show about nothing. Seinfeld got it right.
Yeah.
What, like, you could relate to things so much better when it's about nothing.
Yeah.
Because like not everyone's a divine hero. Most everyone's just a normal dude.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Anyway. So yeah, what was I going on? Oh yeah, Teddy Roosevelt. Any other way you could live would just be the way he would, I guess, just think you're like lily-livered, you know. Like if you, like it'd basically be like you have no reason to be weak unless if like literally all your limbs are chopped off.
That's a pretty decent way to look at it.
Yeah, because like a lot of things are mental.
Like you gotta understand, like you can't. People. The one thing I realized that like a lot of people's hardships, I guess, have common people who generally don't really have extremely serious debilitating sort of things. Which, like, don't be fooled. A lot of, like, most people don't have extreme rehabilitations or like limitations to their actual like body or themselves. But you got to look at, I guess, these sort of ideals, because like I said, like I think we've said it before, there's nothing necessarily wrong with ideals. You got to sort of look at that and then look at the freedoms that you have and understand, like, the reason why these ideals exist is not to sort of make you feel worse about yourself. Is to make you see the, I guess, what you essentially could be, you know? Because ideals don't exist for, like, absolutely no reason. They exist because we had a presupposition about one particular thing that's sort of it's kind of true, but not precisely true. And there's utility in being that ideal. Now, not all ideals are perfect, but the reason why they exist is to sort of bring us closer to, like, this idea of, like, this sort of, you know, point of highest being, like I was talking about. And Jesus Christ he is the divine hero ideal because of what he does, you know?
Yeah.
He is reborn, you know, spiritually and in some ways physically, like someone who forgoes, like, you know, unhealthy sort of foods and, you know, works out, is reborn into, like, I guess
someone who does keto.
Yeah, exactly. Is reborn into, like, a healthier, like, livelier, stronger, more physically active, you know, because, like, the thing is, like, it's really powerful because, I mean, there's that classic painting where Jesus is literally floating up into the sky, which I found kind of funny because too many memes, but no, it's just like looking at like Renaissance art. You can't do it without laughing anymore because there's too many edits of like them just like fucking like ridiculous wacky situations. But like,
because the Bible in itself is a wacky situation.
It is, but like the thing is that
Monty Python's the Holy Bible.
Yeah, but like one thing you gotta understand is that like you can't take that so seriously. Like Jesus literally didn't just float up into the sky. Like some farmer like 3 miles away just wasn't like looking up there like, what the hell is that?
Shit.
Is that Jesus at it again?
It's that Jesus kid.
Get him down from there. But no, like it's what it really is, it's essentially telling you that, hey, your form may be physical and it may be weak, but you can do things to sort of bring yourself to a situation where you're nigh unstoppable. And in doing so, you can bring other people to be the same way, in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily bad, which I feel as if a lot of people feel it is nowadays. Like, to be anything but supremely unique is just bad. But one thing you gotta understand is that, like, that's just God. Like, the idea of, like, that sort of nihilistic subjectivity, it's no different from just another kind of God, because it's the point of the highest ideal for those people. That's what you gotta understand. Like, it's all just ideals and memes. It's kind of, no, I'm serious, it's crazy. Like, dude, it's all ideals and memes. This idea of God, this idea of atheism, this idea of, like, extremist intersectionality, they're all memes. They're all just sort of
The
words.
Book of Five memes.
Yeah. They're all just memes, and they're all just ideals for people to reach, and they can reach them dogmatically, like, you know, or they can sort of, I guess the alternative is to just sort of see things for what they are.
The meme day ching.
Yeah.
Or the Dow Day
Meme.
is better.
The Dow meme, whatever.
Yeah.
Meme zoo.
Do you reckon it is time for my... Sorry.
This one guy had an astoundingly beautiful family and job, and then he was like, fuck this, until he went on the internet.
Man, I'm so tired. Even though I got 8 hours of sleep, I'm just always so tired.
Yeah, dude. You gotta reach the point of highest being. You gotta be like Jesus and ascend.
Thanks.
You got to, dude.
Alright, is it time for my mysteries now?
Maybe.
We only got 8 minutes.
Let me see.
9 minutes. 23 years.
Sometimes it feels that way.
The never-ending podcast.
Imagine.
We should never end. Can we run 24 hours, 7 days a week?
Hey, we're still on, guys.
The Graveyard Shift. That's a good name for a podcast. Crap. Now someone's going to take it.
Yeah, you've already messed up, Mike.
This podcast is now named The Graveyard Shift.
All right, change the title right now.
We air every day at 2 a.m.
Jeez. Imagine.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty fun. But it's all right. So that's Christ the Redeemer man.
Lit.
He redeemed man by showing us that the way you can reach the point of highest being is to suffer. You know, for your suffer for your actions, become one with that suffering, make it a part of you, and overcome it. In doing so, the old you dies, while the you that is closest to God will essentially reborn from your ashes, I guess, and ascends. Which, I mean, sounds really fantastical, but I mean, it's a powerful idea. Because the thing is, wolves, they can't. The wolves don't have vision. Dogs don't have vision. Whales, they don't have vision. But Mike, you and I and other humans around us, we have vision. We can formulate an us that is 2 days into the future.
That is true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't think dogs or cats or whatever the hell would really know about the future.
No, they don't. They don't.
That's a
It's not-
plague, though, because then people think too far into the future.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
it's a
they
curse.
got it made.
Yeah, it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse, because look what we've done with the world.
I wish I was a simpler animal. I wish I was like a sea anemone.
I wish I was an owl, like you said.
I wish I was a sea anemone, dude. All you have to do is friggin'
Shake.
yeah.
All you do is
clownfish
dance. dude.
fucking you.
All right, Mike's mysteries, go. Let's do this.
All right, so the moon landing is complete bullshit. Dude. It didn't happen.
Wait, Jesus figured that out when he ascended, right? He's like,
Yeah.
wait a second, there's nothing here.
Nah, dude, the moon landing. No. No, I'm kidding. It is about the moon landing, though. Did you know the original recording for the moon landing is lost media?
Yeah, one's small step for a man, one's John.
Yeah, they lost that. They lost it. They lost it. It's gone. They lost the freaking tape.
What?
You'd think someone at NASA was smart enough to be like,
Is it still on TV, though?
It's on TV, but the original copy of the recording's gone.
What do they do?
They don't. Nobody knows. That's why it's a mystery. You know. They're like. I remember one guy at NASA is like, man, I really wish we had some historian here that made us keep that, because I have no idea where it is.
Wait, what? Wait, say that one more time.
The friggin' they just don't have the copy.
No, who said that, though?
I don't really know his name. Just some guy who lived at NASA, worked at NASA. I also think it's partly because they couldn't record it the way they wanted to because of how the moon is, like how like the light was reflecting and everything. So they had to take a video of a video, basically, kind of like how people do on their like unregistered hypercams. They kind of had to do something like that.
So you see the Bandicamp logo on the top of the screen where he's planting the flag on the moon.
Do you know what's crazy? Apparently, China is they want to magnify the size of the moon and make more moons by putting mirrors into space. Don't you think that'd screw with the animals really bad if the moon was suddenly 15 times larger than normal? Like they basically want the moon to be so bright that streetlights would be obsolete. So the moon would be like, the moon's like this normally, it'd be like this.
Why would you want that?
So there's no need for, I don't know, because apparently China doesn't like friggin'
Streetlights.
because they can. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool, but I'm wondering if that would make the animals go apeshit.
Maybe.
Like, or what if it causes more lunar radiation and like cancer skyrockets or something?
Is there such thing as lunar radiation?
Probably. It's just solar radiation just dimmed down from the moon being in the way.
Dimmed down a bit.
And they also want to make multiple moons and stuff. They kind of want to make the sky their own playground.
Multiple moons. Wait, is that it for Mike's Mysteries? Is that so?
Dude, they
lost the tape.
Yeah, they lost it.
So that's it.
And no one knows where it is.
Nobody knows where it is until now. Figured it out.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Someone please pay us $100 on the Patreon, and you will give you it for free.
Nah, dude. The point of Mike's Mysteries is I share with you a mystery and I hardly elaborate on it and fill it with BS so you can look it up yourself. Do it yourself. That's Mike's Mystery. Like if it was it wouldn't be a mystery if I told you what happens.
Yeah.
You gotta figure that out. That's what makes it a mystery.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know.
I don't know. Jesus.
Nah,
Christ.
but yeah, they lost the tape, folks. They don't know where the hell it is. I mean, they did find, like, CBS had some old versions of the first taping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, they just can't find it. Which I think is really funny, especially for people who deny the moon landings happened. They must be like, hell, they've lost it. This is definitely BS then. One thing I am wondering, though,
story.
Apparently there's like an American flag up there. I'm wondering if the Chinese really did magnify the moon, if it'd be chilling there. Like, you could, like, if you squint really hard, you can see a flag.
Wait, hold on.
I'm also thinking, like, what happens if the mirror, like, the sun ends up hitting the mirror instead and we just get vaporized?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what if it's still hanging up there?
Yeah, because then wouldn't there be two suns and wouldn't it be a cataclysmic event if there are two suns? I don't think the heat would increase. I don't think with the. Couldn't you ruin the
no, it would
world?
just focus a bunch of solar radiation on one particular point and just be like, fuck this place in particular.
Yeah, like, couldn't you turn off the nighttime basically?
Turn off the nighttime. Is that why we can't? Is that the only way we can reach the sun? Is when we go there at night? Because that's when the sun turns off.
Yeah, so, that's kind of crazy. What if it does hit the sun? I feel like what if it be like a giant magnifying glass and just like shoots rays down and like vaporizes people?
So they can vaporize the people who are low on the social thingy.
That's terrifying. They could just destroy the planet. Or what if you made like a mirror?
What if the mirror doesn't work because there's a massive sticker that says "Made in China"?
What if you point a giant mirror to the Earth and so there's like an image of Earth in the sky? That would be badass.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
You could zoom in really close, so like you just like zzz, and this be you like in the sky, like some kind of aberration.
It's like a fucking. Geez, I don't know, Mike. I don't know. That certainly is a mystery. What if China just making mirrors and fucking us lose? What if China has the tape? China's got the tape. China took the tape.
Rudy's got the chalk.
Rudy's got the chalk.
Chalk, so.
All right, Austin.
All right, I'm Mike.
Andrews.
Bye.
Kempf.
Yeah, no. That's how you pronounce it.
Moon landing was fake. We're going down.
Yeah.